Sally Barrett, I'm the Director of Probation Services for the County of Lebanon. And I have with me Danielle Hall. She is the Director of MIS for the County of Lebanon. And I asked Danielle to come on with me today in case there were any questions regarding the techie stuff in the case management system and the hardware and software requirements related to the computers that I'm certain I'm not going to be able to answer. So thanks for being here.
Okay.
I'm here this morning to request a signature approval and signature of the Memorandum of Understanding for the Criminal Justice Unified Case Management Program Agreement between County Commissioners Association, the Lebanon County Commissioners and the County Commissioners Association. I didn't know if you had any specific questions. I can give you a brief overview of the Memorandum of Understanding. It talks about what the county's responsibilities are as far related to policies and procedures, costs of the program or costs of the case management system, and then of course the hardware and software technology requirements.
I know we've been anticipating this. This has been under discussion for quite a while.
I was going to ask if you could just go back for a minute and talk about the inception of it and our participation as a pilot county, and what the intent was of this from CCAP's, why CCAP started this whole thing.
And also the financing, if I understood correctly, because we are part of the pilot, we are exempt from the fees initially?
Certain fees.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Several years ago, County Commissioners Association put together a grant from PCCD, and it was a data quality grant, which was, the intent was to move through the county criminal justice agencies, the probation departments, and analyze and correct data quality related to criminal justice terms. I need to set some straight this, sorry. Criminal justice terms which are called NEAM compliance, so that when you are when they're pulling information to the state, information such as ethnicity, eye color, hair color is all consistent across the state. It's not someone has red hair or someone has orange hair or someone has strawberry blonde hair. It's the same color across the state. So in doing that, I think what they came to realize was there was a significant amount of redundancy of data entry across the county's criminal justice systems. So specifically the district attorney's office, the probation department, and the prison were the agencies that they were looking at. And I think I remember having a conversation with Rita Reynolds from CCAP saying, it would be great to have a unified case management system that we have a point of entry, or even pulling information from the state system, which is the AOPC's Common Pleas Case Management System, in an effort to reduce the redundancy of data entry. So, lo and behold, a grant became available through CCAP, and they wrote a grant to start this, what is referred to as the Unified Case Management System. The Unified Case Management System is a system that is not, it's not a statewide system at this point. It's a system that is into each county, and it's meant exactly, as I stated earlier, to have the district attorney's office, the prison, and the probation department not only share information, but have a point of data entry, so that, for example, if the district attorney's office puts information into their system, because they'll get the case before the probation department does, we'll have the ability to pull whatever information we want to pull instead of having to re-enter that data again. But the grant was written, it was approved. They asked for 5 pilot counties. Lebanon County was one of those pilot counties, and we have been very proactive in the development not from a technological perspective, but from an end user perspective, as far as the structure, what it looks like, what type of information is in there, the process of putting that information in there, reports that would go in there. We've been very proactive in the development of that program. The probation department went live. We migrated data from our other program about 7 weeks ago, so we are 7 weeks into the migration. We had a lot of data cleanup. This system is 10 times the system that we had. It requires more information from us to put in about an offender, demographic information, all types of other information about an offender. But as such, it also enables us to pull out more information than we were able to put in. That's important for us because PCCD and other funding sources are requiring more and more statistical data to support requests for funding, and it's statistical data that in our previous system we were not able to pull out. First of all, we didn't put a lot of it in, and we weren't able to pull it out. So even my annual report to the board that I've done for the last 10 years has been kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 manual count from all the officers. This report, or this system, takes that manual part out of it and really allows me to automate a report at any given time. We had a veterans court meeting a couple weeks ago for the judge, and I was able to pull out the number of offenders that were veterans, what programs they were in the count within our department, what offense they had committed that they were on supervision for, and I was able to pull that report out and look at it and provide it to everybody that was at the meeting. So
Are you telling me that we are moving towards a veterans court?
I'm just telling you we were meeting to discuss the possibility.
All right.
But I was able to provide information, to the judge to support the meeting. So that's pretty much the case. Danielle and MIS has been crucial because there have been a lot of technology requirements that were built in there. There are fees, so yes, nothing comes without a fee. There
So
are
the grant that CCAP got was for the development of the software. The fees presumably are for the ongoing operation.
Yes,
and
the grant,
maintenance of
yes,
the
it was for the
program.
development of the software. And I believe they were also able to add additional funding onto that grant or started a new grant to cover the cost of the district attorney's office. That's true?
Okay.
So the grant covered the development of the program, of the case management system, and it did cover implementation fees and support fees for the district attorney's office. On page 6, it does give an explanation of the costs that are related. Implementation fee was waived for us, which was $4,700 because we were a pilot county. So we weren't responsible to cover that cost. So there is a licensing fee. It's $772 per user. It's full user. That means anyone that would be able to do anything, put any entries into the system. And $232 for a limited license would be read-only access. We have 40 end users in the case management system. It includes 36 adult probation unit staff and 4 common pleas court judges. And then there's a support fee. First year is mandatory, $70 per user, and then ongoing after that is $30 per user, which is a basic support fee. Those fees, which were approximately a little over $26,000. I know we had discussed during the last budget the county picking up some of the costs of the case management system. The judge did end up paying for all of those fees out of Act 35 money, so that was picked up through Supervision Fee Fund 116. We would not be asking for any funding. The only existing fee that we need to pay CCAP at this point would be the licensing fee for MIS, for Danielle for MIS, which would be she would need a full license of $772, plus her $70 first year support fee.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna correct you. The $70 support fee won't be necessary for my license because we got that included in the grant for the DA.
Great.
So it'll just be the license fee.
So $772 is what you're asking for.
Yes, I would be
I'll
asking for MIS's support.
Also moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded just to give the fee for the MIS.
For Michelle, yeah,
Right.
$772.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
You need an agreement, a motion on the agreement then. If that agreement,
Okay.
if that motion was only to allocate the 772, then we need a motion on the agreement with CCAP.
Now,
MOU.
before we do that, I do have a question. We have the hardware, the system in place to support this, because, you know, what I heard yesterday is that we have issues in technology throughout the county, and I just have a concern that, you know, we do this and a year from now or 2 years from now we hear, well, you know, we can't support this and there are issues. So this is up and running, is that
Yeah.
true?
On page 4, under county responsibilities, it has a county hosted requirement and it has a CCAP hosted requirement. So what you should know is that our case management system is actually hosted through the County Commissioners Association. It's not hosted here.
Okay.
That's the first thing. And it is a web-based program, and it's significant because of that.
Okay.
We were required, and this was kind of something that came afterwards, after knowing what the user license and the support fees were going to be, we were required to get 2 additional server licenses, and this is why Danielle's here, which came to a little over $1,500. The judge did pick up the server license fees for that system in addition to the user and user licenses.
Do you have a date when the DA in the prison will go live?
DA is getting closer. I don't have a specific date. I have a meeting scheduled with Jen Brown from the DA's office at 11:30 this morning to discuss where they're at in the process. But it will be several weeks out yet.
In the
And
prison?
I don't think the prison has a target date. I don't want to speak for the warden, but I don't believe that's
That is correct.
on the radar.
Is it in the works? Is it something that he's working on, or?
I
Because I guess my point, and licenses for the prison are not included in this then at this time?
No, they're not. These were only the licensing fees for adult knowledge.
Okay, I appreciate that, but my thinking is that if we're participating in and using this system, then we should be using it across the board, because the important part of it is
Sharing.
the coordination and the sharing of information. So I don't, at this point, I think we need to encourage the warden to move forward and get on board with
He
this.
is on board.
Okay.
I've been speaking with him. The prison module from the case management side has not been developed as fully, and they are not ready to go live
Okay.
at this point.
So it's not the warden
It
then,
is not
it's
the warden now.
okay.
He is on board and ready to go.
Okay.
Licensing fees and everything have been discussed. It's a technology issue from the
Okay.
program development standpoint.
I remember hearing that back a while, but I thought that might have been resolved by now, so.
The rollout for the system includes the adult probation departments first, and then the district attorney's office, and then the prison, and it's
Okay.
because of how this case management system was developed. So there are 3 separate modules to the system that speak to one
Speak to
another.
each other, okay.
Right. But, and to be frank with you, just, we were the 3rd county to go live. It was Blair County, Perry County, and we went live. And we had some issues with us, information. We speak to a system called JNet, which is a state system, and we lost communication with them, and I kind of asked them to just slow down, because we needed to work out some of these issues so that the other counties that were going live weren't gonna have some of these counties, or some of these problems. So, I think they've kind of stepped back a little bit, and especially since I didn't want them moving on to Dauphin County when I still had issues, and then they were ignoring me, so.
So at this point, you're comfortable, obviously, or you wouldn't be here asking for us to
Yes, I am.
support this.
I am, and I want to speak also about when we're done, when we are past the initial licensing fees for Microsoft and we get into the support fees, our support fees for this system will be less than what they were for our previous system, and it's, as I said, it's 10 times the system that we have.
Okay.
The other thing that we have is we have a web portal system, which is a web reporting for our offenders that are on a minimum caseload or a monitoring caseload, so to speak, those offenders that are at a low risk level. And we are actually generating revenue for the county. I think it's like $8 a month for each offender to report on that web portal, which is through this system, and the county generates, I think, $2 per month per offender for that. So we just got like, I mean, it's minimal, but we just got $100 and some check for that, so.
All
Well,
right.
I'd just like to say thank you for all of your hard work in pulling this pilot project together, because it was a privilege to listen to Rita's initial pitch to Microsoft, well, initial pitch, and rollout of the concept at a national conference last year in 2012 in Washington, D.C., and she is such a dynamo, but she gave you so much credit for the feedback and the contributions that you made, so thank you.
I was excited to be a part of it, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
Any other questions, comments? Ready for the motion to approve the